and welcome to the Stitching Spirit channel. So in this series you will be learning 20 different stitches and there will be 6 different patterns that you will get for free, and the patterns will be in the descriptions, and every day I will release a new video with a new stitch. You will need some fabric to get started, preferably cotton or a cotton linen. I do sell some on my Etsy, but you can get them in a lot of craft stores. So yeah, just make sure the fabric square that you cut out is big enough to put the size hoop that you need. You will need an embroidery needle. I will be using a size 10 embroidery needle. You can use any needle that you're comfortable with, but I would suggest you wouldn't use any bigger than a size 5 embroidery needle. And the best thing to remember is that the smaller the number, the bigger the needle. So yeah, just make sure that it's one that you're comfortable with, but I wouldn't go any bigger than a size 5. You'll also need some embroidery thread, so any 6-strand embroidery thread will be fine. I would recommend you use Anchor or DMC thread, purely just because it's a better quality thread. You'll get less knots and they are less fluffy, so if you do a lot of stitches in one area, it could be quite fluffy if you don't use those types of threads. I will leave all the colours that I use in each pattern in the description, so if you do want to use those specific threads you can, but all you need to do is get some embroidery thread that are similar colours to the ones that I use for the pattern, and that is it. So just make sure that they are 6-strand embroidery threads. You will need an embroidery hoop. All the patterns that I have supplied in this series are designed for a 4-inch hoop or a 5-inch hoop, and the last pattern is in a 6-inch hoop, but please feel free to resize them and do them in anything that you have or a size that you want to do them in, but that is just the size that I've made them. You will also need some sharp scissors, preferably embroidery scissors, just so that it doesn't chew your thread when you cut, but just make sure they're nice and sharp. You will also need to transfer your pattern onto your fabric, preferably with a friction pen, which is a heat erasable pen, or another method that you prefer. I do have another video on that, so please go check that out if you're unsure before you start. An optional extra is a embroidery stand, so if you're unsure if you want to sort of invest in that, because obviously if you're just a beginner and you're just starting, the only reason I use it is because it sort of frees up my hands and gives me more control, and it lets me use both hands so I can control the thread a bit more if I'm doing certain stitches that are just a little bit more hands-on. And if you, like I say, if you're not sure about if you want to invest in one of those yet, you can. There is other methods which I will show you here, and you can use a large heavy book and a table just to sort of weight your hoop down, so you can use that as well. If there's anything you're unsure of, please let me know, ask me questions. A lot of the things that you will need are available on my Etsy store, and I really hope you enjoy this series. I hope you have some fun, and I hope you learn something along the way. Thank you.